welcome to Gloucester Tabletop Gaming Community Dice and Tears podcast for the second week in a row. For the 68 people that downloaded and listened to us last week, absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much. And tonight we have John.
Hello.
Phil.
Hello, Karl. This is Phil.
Thanks, Phil. Holly.
Hello.
Sam, who's a newcomer.
Hi.
And Luke.
Hi.
Hi.
Luke, the sound guy.
So, thank you everyone for joining us again. We've got a little bit of things to run through. We're recording this on Sunday evening, just after the Sunday preview from Warhammer Community website has gone on. So we'll have a little chat about that later on. A little bit of excitement for all players, not so much Space Wolves. But we'll get into that in a couple of minutes. Sam, this is your first time on the podcast, so
Yes.
what I want you to do, Sam, introduce yourself, let us know what you're collecting today, and just give us a little brief overview of what you're about.
Well, as you know, my name's Sam. Collecting, that's a question and a half, isn't it? Because you know what, you guys know what I'm like, the podcast viewers don't. I'm very indecisive, but at the moment I'm on Astra Militarium, collecting Acadian Force. I just love the way that Karl played them against me and absolutely destroyed me. So I thought, I'll have some of that. I'll get some of that. I've also got a Blood Angels army as well that I am starting to do my own chapter for. So, and that's it really. I just enjoy, painting, the reading the books, and the lore. So yeah, that's me.
Are there any other games you play?
So we play Star Wars Legion.
How's that going?
Yeah, I got destroyed on a game, and it put me into a state of depression for the next 3 days. No, to be fair, I enjoy every game I play in Star Wars Legion. I also want to look to get into bolt action as well at some point. So they're the three sort of things that I'm going to be playing for the near future.
Sam, how long have you been playing or been involved in the hobby as a whole?
January, I was going to say, because it was before Christmas. I was speaking to Karl about getting me into the hobby, and then after Christmas, I decided to join the club. Never looked back, really.
How did Karl sell it to you?
Yeah,
He
that's
told
what
me
I
it
want
was
to know.
amazing.
I'm interested. Do you just go, yeah, it's fucking
amazing.
models, isn't it?
Yeah, well, he showed me a few models. He went through a few little things, and then I started reading a bit of the lore. And then he was saying that he was the best player down the club.
Here we
Quite a
go.
lot.
Oh, bullshit.
And then he said, play me and we'll have a good fun game and I'll teach you the ropes. I played him and yeah, it wasn't a good fun game. I got destroyed. It was a lovely game. The models were lovely, but let's just say I didn't get to see mine very often because they were taken off the board quite quickly.
So that was an interesting game though, wasn't it, Sam? Because it wasn't your first game down the club. You were teamed up with Chaz, one of our regulars down the club, and I teamed up with Andy.
Yes.
And, you guys just ignored my Lehman Russes. What can I say?
Well, yeah, you just read the new PA 20 minutes prior to the game and you knew what stratagems you were going to use and we didn't know how to combat it, which was nice. My first game down the club was interesting. It was a doubles game against Ash and Andy. Me and Chaz again. I seem to team up with Chaz quite a lot and we seem to do a lot of losing. That's nothing against Chaz. I think that's just me and Chaz. We tend to we make it a bit fun when we're playing. We just like to play. We don't really worry about 5 turns ahead like some people will play.
And I think
worry about it in the moment. So
the army you played against was Ash brought his Death Guard and Andy was using Death Guard as well for the first time.
Yeah, Poxwalkers aren't my favourite things anymore. That's all I'm going to say on that matter because it was just Poxwalker after Poxwalker. And where it was my first game, Chaz was sort of teaching me the ropes a little bit. And we just couldn't get through that horde of Poxwalkers. And yeah, kind of took us all out.
I think an interesting thing to point out is that, obviously, Sam, you've been starting the hobby since January. Just let everyone who's listening know, how many points have you collected in the two months that you've been playing?
I knew this was going to come up, you see.
His wife might listen to this.
No, because she don't know the points values of things, right? Let's just say that.
Just the military.
10,000 points of Blood Angels I had. I've now whittled that down to 2,500. And I've also got about 1,700 points of Astra Militarium there. So
so he's got 11,000 points in the space of 2 months. If anyone's listening to that and has been playing for a while, will understand that is a ridiculous amount to amass in a month.
Incom Gaming and Gloucester Warhammer shop did love me for quite a while.
You're their number one customer, Sam.
Yeah,
I was.
blimey.
So they did that. They did that New Year, New Army, didn't they? In Gloucester Warhammer, and you every time you bought something, you got points, and you went up the ranks. I think I went up the ranks in about 3 days. And the guy said to me, "There's no point you playing because you know." And I was like, "Yeah, that's sound. See you later."
What did you get anything for going up this rank system thing?
No, I didn't actually. To be fair, and then when I went in it wasn't even the month end, and I went in again and got something else, and he didn't put my points down, and he was just like, "Yeah, it's ended." I was like, "Oh, that was anticlimactic. I'll have my money back, please."
He's only done, it's not actually a tally sheet. It was just a thing that he was recording down to see how much commission he got from it.
Yeah,
we
probably.
don't know. We don't know.
Extension is slowly getting bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Okay, so that's Sam. Thank you. It's nice to have you on.
Thank you.
News, guys. What do you guys want to talk about news-wise? If we go down the list, John, what you got?
Well, we've had an errata for the Psychic Awakening 5 this week, which was a slight nerf to Tau and some clarification. Biggest one being that the Avara unit's no longer there.
I don't know what that is.
It's a big robot with some flamer type weapons that are no longer part of some nice new stratagems Tau got.
Ah.
But tell us, what was the nerf, John? Because
the nerf.
So when I first saw that book, I thought to myself, "Oh crikey, Yavara's going to come out and play again, aren't they?" So what happened?
Yavara could have come out and played again. So Yavara has a very nice flame weapon, which does heavy 3d3 hits. And Tau have a lovely stratagem in Psychic Awakening, which gives you, for 1 CP, you get maximum number of hits. So that would be 9 auto hits, strength 10, minus 3p, 3 damage apiece.
What range is it? 14 inches, is that right?
12 inches.
Oof.
So, you got to get quite close, but that's nasty.
But because it's a flamer weapon, you can move it. I assume it's a thingy-majiggy, a jetpacky type dude, so it can go 12, and then you advance it.
Yeah,
So
jetpack and fly on it, yeah.
Yeah, you can make it very mobile if you want to. So they just removed that from their stratagem, did they? Is it?
They basically said it's Ghost Keel or Riptide, and said it is not the Avara. Very explicitly.
Oh, so guys, put those Yavaras back on that shelf, gathering dust.
Sorry, guys, they're almost relevant.
Phil, is there anything you want to talk about news?
Yeah, so one thing that stood out to me this week was the cancellation of Adepticon.
Okay.
So this is massive. I mean, I know there's someone from our club who goes. I think Ben goes every year to Adepticon, and this is huge. But the thing that I thought was like really positive that came out of this is that they're going to start previewing stuff through some online events, which I think is a fascinating way of doing things. And something I've never really seen them do before. So I'm really looking forward to see, what's it, Saturday the 28th of March, Saturday the 4th of April, just to see what they're going to kind of do for this.
My question on that would be, do you reckon they do the same with Warhammer Fest?
I really hope not.
Yes, a couple of us have bought tickets already. I do hope not. When's Warhammer Fest again?
It's in May, so we're quite... but you just never know, do you? With the,
I think it's too big to just cancel completely.
Yeah, in 2021.
Well, yeah.
They've cancelled Adepticon. Why not Warhammer Fest?
Because we want to go, Karl.
Because where else are they going to announce 9th?
I think they will, to be fair.
They're like, gosh darn it, our plans are scattered to announce 9th this year. Anyway, okay. So
not a chance.
Yeah, not a chance. I mean, it is sad, but obviously with what's happening in this world at this moment, it's better to be safe than sorry. So Holly.
Yes.
what news would you like to talk about this week?
Well, I don't know if what you want me to talk about, but I obviously want to talk about the fact that I am out of the running for the worst player of the club. I have officially won my first game, and not only did I win, like I really won.
You did. Well done.
Yes,
Well
you
done.
did.
We'll talk about that a little bit later on, but I think
You
that's
want me to
great
talk
news.
about Gaza, don't you?
Well, you are an Orc player. I thought you'd want to jump at the chance and talk about that great new box set that's just been previewed.
Now, I love Gaza. Gaza is who I want. I don't obviously I don't care about the other part of it.
Paul Gascoigne.
What is the Paul Gascoigne?
Paul Gascoigne. Okay.
Wrong with Paul?
I mean, that's definitely what I want. Absolutely.
He's had a rough time.
Yeah.
He deserves some limelight.
But why don't you like the other part of the box set? I mean, what do you mean?
What, Space Wolves? Because I.
Oh right. Oh sorry. Yeah.
So,
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
And also, if there are any more boys, like I really have no interest in boys because I currently have like 140 of them, and I don't want to see or paint another boy in my life.
I think if an experienced Orc player was around, he would probably say to you, 140, that's rookie numbers, you need to pump them up.
Yeah, I can't be dealing with pumping them up.
I mean, from an Orc perspective, I think that box set's really cool because that Gazgul model looks absolutely incredible. I did say it this morning, though, I'd love to have had him with a couple of squigs next to him as like pets or something like that. I thought that'd be really cool, real cool dynamic. But I mean, if you're a Space Wolf player, you're probably feeling a little bit upset right now. Ironically, Dale's just texted me, who is a Space Wolf player down the club, and he's put, so pissed with that Space Wolf box set, looks like absolute and utter shit. Smiley.
Well, yeah, we were going to go halves on it, and now obviously he is not going halves on it.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it earlier, didn't we? Before we got into this chat, that the Space Wolves are get in your face, combat, choppy, slicey, sort of Viking-esque army. So what did GW do? The people who created them, created their lore. Oh, we just stick a bunch of Phobos units in there. That'd be fine. That'd do. That's fine. Great, sweet, nice new mod. Here you go, some Phobos. Space Wolf players aren't probably going to like that. They're going to be like, well, I'll tell you what, my mate who's Raven got a bit emo, he can have the Phobos, and I'll just keep the new Ragnar's model. Opinions, guys? What do you think?
Well, like, what do you get in it then? So you get the new captain.
So
and
it's,
you get,
it's infiltrators, isn't it?
yeah, it's just a unit of infiltrators painted blue.
Yeah.
That's it.
You know,
I think the only thing you're really paying for on the Space Wolves side is that Ragnar. That's it.
even that's a bit shite.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it compared to what Gazgul looks, I mean, look at the size of that model. That's huge.
But you know what this box set is, don't you? This is like the person responsible for this at King's Workshop did his homework on the bus in, and he'd done Gazgul and went, fuck, we need something else. Just put the infiltrators in there because it is pathetic on the Space Wolf side.
Do you think then, value for money, are they going to go full retail here and
that's
put it
90 quid?
90 quid.
Yeah, 90 quid easily.
That's
Well, my hope is that
that's
at some point
ridiculous.
I can just buy Gazgul because that's
You
what
will.
I want.
You will be able to.
2
But if
months'
you
time,
think-
and they need to make more money.
Yeah, but am I patient enough to wait for that moment?
No. Because I
I'm sure you
keep
can buy Gazgul
infiltrators.
for £5 on eBay 2 days later.
Yeah.
I mean, if you put it with the rest of the Psychic Awakening stuff, when they released the Phoenix out, the Blood of the Phoenix Elder box set, it's sort of like, although you got a fair amount in that box, it was still, you thought to yourself, well, it's not really a bargain. GW been doing these really cool bargain box sets recently, and then that came in, you're like, oh, okay.
And also, what you've got to remember is that the separate models, so Dranzar and the Howling Banshees, they only just came out about a couple of weeks ago, and that was the first Psychic Awakening box set to come out. So to answer your question, Holly, you'd be waiting ages for that.
Well, I am
Dragon
quite
model,
excited
can
about the
imagine.
new stratagems and new woolly bits. Like that's exciting.
Well, hopefully this week we'll see the preview. So hopefully Wolves get a little bit of love, which might appease Dale.
Which might make people want to use infiltrators. Maybe that's why they're going.
Yeah, maybe there's something we don't know. These little infiltrators got some really cool Space Wolf special rules. So hopefully yes. And obviously we're just going by what the pictures look like at the moment. But hopefully we'll see something interesting.
if you look at the box art is primarily those two characters and a bunch of other randomers. So are they trying to change the way that things are sold here? Are they trying to go, right, let's just make them the focus and bung in a bunch of stuff that people don't use?
So just have characters basically in these box sets, and
so basically you pay 90
class.
quid for a character, essentially.
That's crazy, isn't it?
That's
mad. Well, if you think about it, what's
two
Gazgul?
characters.
He's the size of a Redemptor. So Redemptor, what's that? 35 quid? 37?
Yeah.
And then a character on it's what, 20 quid? I mean, if you take the latest.
Yeah, they're about
15
to 20 quid, aren't they?
So that's 50 quid. That's a lot.
Because that Space Wolves character, are people necessarily going to buy on their own? Are they going to look at that and go, yeah, that's
on
what
how
I
good
need?
he is, though, doesn't it?
Yeah. If his rules are pretty boss, then yeah, you're gonna buy him, aren't you?
I think it all waits until we read actually what's in it.
We can quickly just go over Gazgul's rules because we have a little sneaky preview, don't we?
I think they released it because it was released everywhere else. So oh crap, we're behind the curveball on this again. So let's just release it anyway. But yeah, carry on, Luke.
Well, the rules are pretty. Me and Holly were talking about this earlier, and it's sort of like a catch-22 because I think they're good. I do, but
with the abilities thing, nothing much has really changed.
Is it not?
Well, no, because most of the things that were on the abilities I could do with my Gazgul now.
Okay. I mean, the thing that stuck out for me was his attacks. So he's got that Mork's Roar, which is range 36, assault 12, 5 strength, -1 AP and 1 damage. That's okay. I mean, it's a long range attack, so it's not too bad. It's the Gork's Claw. It's strength. Well, at full capacity, it's what? Strength 7.
14.
-4 AP. Damage 4 at 5 attacks each.
The custom claw,
amazing.
The claw at the moment that Gazgul has is strength 12, -3 AP, 3 damage. So it's not too different.
But how many attacks does Gazgul have at the moment?
But on, for
5.
example, the thing is, though, on that current one, if Gazgul went up against a lot of Tau battle suits, for example, their lot of it's like toughness 7, so he'd be wounding on 2s.
Yeah,
and that 14, it just puts him into that area where he can pretty much, if he hits it, he is going to wound it. And once he's wounded it, -4 AP, you're lucky it's going to have anything but your vulnerable save.
I mean, if you're against that sort of rule set, you're looking at, okay, I've got a unit of 20 Poxwalkers. I'm just going to put a unit of 20 Poxwalkers against it and just keep him there for the rest of the game. Because he's doing 4 damage, but in reality, he's only killing, possibly maybe 4 Poxwalkers a turn. So you just bog him down with light infantry with 1, and that 4 damage just goes away.
You can also reroll ones to hit. Sorry,
I've just realised that as well.
Yeah.
Which is cool. He hits on 2s.
He hits on 2s, re-rolling ones. And
things around him can re-roll ones as well.
I just realised something on here as well. It says, in addition, the Great War, in addition, add 1 to the attack characteristic of friendly Orc infantry. Oh, he's not infantry anymore, is he?
No, he's a monster. Yeah, so he only gets 5 attacks. I don't know if there's anything in the Orc Codex that will allow him to have 1 more or something like that. Or
Mackay. So we don't know. I'm sure Mackay had a rule where it added 1, but again, I would have to double check. But
could that be against Grots with Grots rather than an actual Orc?
But the thing is that if you're playing Gaz, you're going to strain with boys, aren't you? Yeah. So you've got, let's say you got 2 squads of boys. That's a lot of attacks as it is, as I found out on Tuesday. And adding 1 to that, it's just a lot of shit coming your way.
So a lot of attacks.
And then when that all comes through, Gazgul's just going to stomp up and hit whatever it is.
I just realised, obviously, so if Gazgul's there, the rule I just read, Holly, how many do they have on a charge normally? Do they have orcs? I mean,
4, isn't it?
Boys.
They have 3 with their weapon and an extra 1 if they charge for 4, and then if they're near Gazgul, when they charge, they get another 1, so 5.
5 times 30.
5 times 30. Quick math, anyone?
150.
Thank you, Phil.
That's the doctor for you.
100. Thanks, Phil. That's 150 attacks. What was it, Holly? They Their
What,
weapon
boys?
skill? Yeah, weapon
Hit on
skill.
freeze.
3+, aren't they?
Okay, but isn't there a rule within Gazgul there that makes it they reroll once?
Yeah.
On the new
Yeah.
Gazgul.
The new oh my god! So they're rerolling hits. Any sixes are an additional hit. That's absolute chaos. That's absolute chaos. Rerolling ones. Any six is an additional hit. You're rolling 150 dice to begin with. Like, that's nasty. That's insane. I'm well impressed
There's
with that.
potential. Yeah, it's potential to do really, really well. But, you just stand back with hurricane boats and kill all the boys around him.
But the other problem is, it's like the boys are easy to kill.
Yeah.
And Gazkul's now a character with more than 10 wounds, so.
But you can only
The
lose a
thing
maximum
is,
of 4 a phase.
Is it
We
worth
all
90
know-
quid?
Well, yeah, we all know that I don't.
Sam's going straight.
We all know I don't buy models based on if they're any good. If they look cool and I'll enjoy painting them. Like Sally is shocking in a game, but I just buy them because they're cool, and he looked cool.
Yes, stompers are terrible.
You will agree.
I mean, they're not terrible. They're just so expensive.
My
Was it-
stompers died in any game is ever played in very quickly.
We'll have to do an APOC and just, get as many orc stompers on the board as possible.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure there's plenty floating about the club, so it should be easy enough to do. Okay, so moving on then, Sam, is there any news that you would like to talk about?
No, I think that's covered it. The only thing I'd say is it's a new thing. Am I going to buy it? That's the question. But probably not.
The answer is yes.
The answer is
Yeah.
probably no, because I have told myself I'm sticking with the 2 armies. So the answer is probably no. However, I do have a tendency to walk into these shops and go, "Ooh, that's new. I like that."
Sam, who really told you that? You or someone else?
What's that?
who really told you about the 2 armies? You or someone else very close to you?
Let's just say my very dear wife has said you've got too much. Calm down. So
Did you walk
calm
into your
down.
shed and go, "The fuck is this?"
However, if a Blood Angels unit got released magically or an Imperial Guard unit got released magically, they would be the first things on my list.
You see, I tried to say this to Luke that he has enough, and then they announce more sisters, so it just doesn't go very well.
You've just
I know,
ruined
but sisters
my
haven't got a
news
lot,
update.
have they?
Well, you're next, Luke, so you can talk about your news update.
Yeah, okay.
We can
Okay.
lead straight on to Luke here because
So-
sisters didn't have a lot, and now look.
So, Luke, what would you like
Yeah.
to talk about news-wise this week?
Funny. Thanks for asking, Karl. Yeah. What I'd like to talk about is the new sister. Well, I say new sisters. It's basically when the sisters box set that I covered off last week came out, we got like a flavour of what was to come. But now we have finally got all of the sister stuff, and once again, my wallet has had an absolute battering. Because the main reason being is, like I said last week, it's all really expensive. But no, I'm finally covering. So what was released this week was the other tank, which is the Impala, something like that.
Immolator.
Immolator, that's the one.
Got there in the end.
It's basically a tank with a stained glass window. What's not to like?
That seems a bit interesting. What does it?
Oh, you've
The
just
other
sold it
one,
to everyone.
well, like I said, the other one is a tank with an organ attached to it. This one is a walking church. So, I mean, it's a win-win.
Win-win.
And you get a rhino as well.
Well, rhinos, they're just transport. It's black. Yeah, it'll do. But the cool. Go on.
I was going to say, with that rhino, though, you've got a space somewhere to put your really fragile, hard-hitting combat unit to rush up the board with, so they don't get shot off the turn table
That's
turn
true.
1.
That's true.
So you got to think of it like that, innit? Shame we can't have drop pods because that'd be brilliant.
Can you imagine? Oh, can you imagine what they'd look like as well? There's like just flying statues.
Just a bit of
Right.
cathedral dropping down, wouldn't it?
Yeah. How cool would that
GW, if
be?
you're listening,
Or a small
Yeah.
village church.
our drop pods.
Yeah, sister drop pods. Ask Aurora sister drop pods, please. GW, that would be great. Giant.
You got your own
figureheads.
Inceptors now.
Yeah. So I've got Well, the main thing I wanted to cover was actually the Imagifier. So me and
That's a
John
lovely
had
model.
had a little bit of an issue when that first came out because I got quite frustrated because I couldn't find it in the codex. Could I, John?
You couldn't know.
No. How long did it take you to find it, John?
about 30 seconds because it's in the index.
I was looking for about an hour.
Oh,
Don't know
dear.
why I couldn't find it. Yeah, but yeah, no, that thing's great. Basically, I'm going to be really kind to the guys in the podcast and anyone who's listening at the moment. So the Imagifier, if you're running Sisters as Valiant Hearts, basically what they do is if they're in cover and a weapon is shooting at them, which is a minus AP weapon, it negates that AP by 1. So if it's for example, if the gun that's shooting at the sisters is minus 1 AP, it will basically bring it down to 0. Yeah. What the Imagifier does is buff that up to by an additional 1. So anything minus 2 will then go down to 0. So if anyone has an Imagifier, you really want to get rid of those because they're buffing whatever unit they're nearby. And that Imagifier is actually quite tall. So because I don't know if anyone's seen it, but it's basically a woman holding a statue on
The
a
model's
stick.
amazing. The model looks amazing.
It's a beautiful model.
Yeah. Yeah. So
very quick question: is it a character?
I can check.
I would
don't
have
think
thought so.
so.
Being a, it's
Well, that'd be
essentially
like
just a banner bearer, isn't it? So I'd have thought so.
That'd be equivalent to like a company ancient, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
It is. Let's have a look. So here we go. Let's see how long it takes me to find it this time. Give me 20 minutes.
So we continue the podcast.
Found it. There we go. It is a character. Yes.
Okay.
It is a character.
So you wouldn't be able to shoot it off the board
No.
straight away because
There
that
we go.
seems nasty. So yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Very
That's
good.
me.
So what I want to talk about is I was just flipping through the website the other day and I was like, what do I want to talk about on this week's podcast? And I saw it. I thought, oh yeah, that looks really, really cool. So Forge World have released a new tank. I am partial to a Forge World tank because I think they do some really cool stuff. It's called a Legion Arcutor Bombard with Heavy Morbus Bombard, which is a ridiculous name, but I think Forge would just like to have fun with it. It's basically it's a carrying tank turned around with a big bloody mortar on it and it looks at heavy bolters. But I love the look of it. It looks absolutely fantastic. It is mainly for according to this, Legion, Iron Warriors and Imperial Fists, and maybe Death Guard.
That's a really nice model.
It's very cool. But basically all they've done is gone, you can tell they've had a staff meeting, had a few beers, and they've gone, right, what are we going to do? We need a new model. We need a new catch. What we got? Why don't we get a Sicarian, put a big mortar on it, turn it around and go, there you go, boys. Enjoy that. And that's pretty much what it is. But it looks really good. I like the look of it. Forge will do some beautiful models. Just their rules aren't up to date with what we're doing in 40k at the moment, which is a shame.
It's just not as of a beautiful price, is it? The stuff that you pay for Forge World stuff is just dear.
Yeah, but Forge World, if you're a player and you put Forge World stuff on the board, it's basically you just like looking at your opposite player and go, peasant, I'm clearly part of the gentry.
You're like the Man City of football. You've bought the table, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's coming from me, who has bought the table quite physically.
So that's the news part. So let's talk about what did we play at the club last Tuesday. So
Yay.
over to you, John. What did you play at the club on Tuesday?
So on Tuesday, as I said last week, me and Holly played off what we thought was worst player at the club. But then, as we found out on Tuesday, there's a few other people contending for that title, so we're going to advance it on. But yeah, so I played Holly. It was 1,200 points, Orc versus Tau, and Holly is no longer in contention.
Yeah.
She won 9-2.
So just remind us then, who is in contention for this lovely title?
So there is myself, yes, Sam,
Me,
the good gentleman Sam, and Chaz. We believe we've identified that as to not win a game yet. So next time we're down the club, it'll be a 3-way match off.
Yeah,
and
that's exciting.
winner comes out of contention. The other two play off, and they get to go home and Yeah, you know.
I reckon we should do small points in the 3-0 match off, and then we might be able to do the match off the same night.
Ooh, careful. That's ambition.
That's wishful thinking.
Come on, it's me playing. I'll be out in turn 3.
But the game against Holly was good fun game. I learned a lot about orcs.
And how did that feel at the end of that game then, John? How were you feeling?
Well, as always, I did a really bad deployment and I left some very important models open. And Holly just went the jump and killed them.
Good job, bitches! Good job!
However, in the next turn, she did teleport in 30 boys behind my riptide and 2 broadsides and got 52 shots put into her.
Yeah, that's rubbish. And then
Thanks to
2 boys are left.
Early warning override, which just nuked out the squad.
Yeah, I had 2 boys left that did nothing, believe it or not.
So yeah, early warning override is a system you can take on Tau battle suits where if enemy deploys units in their turn, so like coming in via what would have been deep strike, then you can shoot at the end of the turn. So once that's over, they've done all their movement, you can shoot if they're within 12 inches. And she's managed to deploy that unit within 12 inches of 3 battle suits. And it went. So if I hadn't made some bad points earlier in the first turn, then the game would have been wide open at that point, I think.
Okay. So you reckon it was your dice rolls?
No, I was just absolutely
No, it was just Holly's
moronic.
pure skill.
I was moronic on deployment and left some characters open. Holly just jumped a unit of boys in, took up my commander and my Carter Fireblade, so I lost a fair bit. Oh, and some Pathfinders, so it's a very bad turn 1 from my perspective, but very good for Holly.
Wow.
Yeah, like I said, a bad deployment.
So basically, with them, I'm going to try and set you up with a game against Sam or Chaz, and then the loser plays the third person.
No, we're going to go for a 3-way. The winner of that 3-way game is our quotation, and then Sam and Chaz play off for the worst player.
Oh dear. All right, thank you for that, John. Phil, what did you play down the club this Tuesday?
So I'm just posting a photo in here. So I played a game of Guild Ball against a chap called John. Now we've got lots of Johns at the club. This was John Boone. And yes, I'm quite new to Guild Ball, but it's a really interesting game. The mechanics of it, I've never played a game like it before. So again, it was kind of like a teaching game, showed me the ropes with this, and so I was a team of Masons again, playing the Morticians, and I somehow won. But
do you know how you won?
I think John was very, very kind in showing me what to do. I don't think
noticed that there was a lot. See, I came over and had a little cheeky wander. The map is the game table is huge, and you didn't seem to have a lot of models on that massive board.
Yeah, there's a lot of space. So I think it's a 3 foot by 3 foot like football pitch, and you've got 6 models on each team. And I think it's intentional, so you've got a bit of room to run around, you've got a bit of room to pass, because it's all part of the mechanics to kind of build up momentum to score goals. So I think it's you need it to be that big, really, despite the low model count. And so just have a look at this photo. I've got so each team has a little mascot that plays for them, and I had a little monkey called Marbles playing for me this week. But yeah, it's just a really nice game. So this week, in fact, in other gaming news, they are bringing out a team of shepherds, and in this team, this is amazing. They've got 2 dogs playing on the team called Hook and Crook. They've got Babe the pig. And they've got a big battering ram goat kind of thing. It's really, really cool.
So before we move on, Phil, we had a brief conversation the week about like turn sequencing in games.
Yeah.
How did it work in that game?
So with this, there's like an overall turn between each team. But within that, you activate one player at a time. And I don't know if you can see in the little photo here. So for each player on your team, you put these little tokens by them, which are called influence tokens. And that's how many actions they can take. So you can run, you can kick, you can fight, or you can pass the ball, kick the ball, so on. And from doing these moves, so say you do a successful pass, you build up momentum, which gives you bonus actions. And it's a really kind of cool system of doing things. And again, it's unlike 40k where you move your whole army, shoot, charge, and so on. It's that back and forth, which is a bit more like a sports game. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see this mechanic coming into 9th edition or something like this. Anyway, look, they've done it with the APOC rules, haven't they?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
With action points?
No, just how the turn sort of moves, isn't it? So like Phil just said, 40k is like you do everything, then your opponent does everything.
Yeah.
Whereas APOC is one detachment does something, and then the opposition's detachment does something, and it's backwards and forwards. And then all the damage is done at the very end of the turn. So you don't lose models straight away, and you don't get alpha strike and stuff like that. So yeah, no, that's interesting. Anything else you'd like to add to that, Phil?
What else? No, just I'm looking forward to playing a bit more Guild Ball in the future. I think it's a very cool game. And if anyone wants to play, let John or myself know, and we'll have a game.
I mean, just a quick plug then for Roll Better Guild Ball podcast. They mentioned us the other day, so we're mentioning them.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
cheers,
very
guys.
kind of you.
And so, Holly, talk to us about what you did at the club this week.
I absolutely decimated John. No,
That is fair.
I'm
But
joking.
last week I did say
So I had a really good game with John, and not to be a bad winner. Whoa, I'm used to being a loser. To be a bad winner, but it was 10-2, not 9-2. I remember because it's the only time I'd ever win at the club.
Is that framed on your wall?
It is. You know, I really enjoyed the game. However, drones, I was told that drones are annoying, and I didn't quite realise how annoying they would be. I get really excited. That I'd done something, and then no, I hadn't done anything. I just killed a tiny little drone. So very annoying. But I thoroughly enjoyed the game. And I just want to quickly say as well, while I'm having a time to chat, that we now have an Instagram page. So everything that the guys are talking about, all the games we play, all the photos are on there. So there's some of the Guild Ball game that Phil's playing, so you can see what he's talking about with the tokens and things. And our page is gloss_tabletop_gaming_community. So give us a follow and a like, and then you can see what we talk about on these podcasts. It's all there for you to have a look at. So yeah, that's what I've been doing this week, just updating the Instagram and smashing John 40k. That's the last time I say, I promise.
Yeah, but Holly, don't you usually smash Luke at 40k at home?
Oh, I do. I don't think have I lost a game to you at home, Luke?
Yeah.
Okay, who's won the majority of games?
Me.
No, that is an outright lie.
I let you win because at the end of the day, you keep me
He's
alive.
got to protect his manhood.
Oh, absolutely. Who believes that Luke lets me win at home?
No, definitely
none of
not.
us.
I played against Luke.
Posted on WhatsApp, we've all seen the results.
Actually, Karl, I'm sure at the last game you played against Luke, you were getting a bit of a sweat on.
Yeah, he's been very quiet about that game, hasn't he? He hasn't mentioned that one in a long time. Got all a bit too heated.
It was a great game of 40k, and I'm proud to say that the forces of Dark Elder and Death Guard, Andy, well done, came triumphant in the end by 1 VP. But hey, if you win by 1, you still win.
Yeah, that's true.
What did you do at the club, Karl?
No, let's talk to Sam. Sam, what did you play down the club this week?
So I played a bit of Star Wars Legion, and I played Matt's competition list.
Oh yeah.
To be fair, right, turn 1 was okay. Turn 2 was where it really happened, and I started taking a few pot shots at his guys. But I'm just going to say this: I didn't wipe one unit off the board, so we had 10 activations, and I didn't wipe one off. That just tells you the way that game went. I was going for what we'd call board superiority, so I was taking a lot of heavy units to control certain lanes of the board. So I was taking a lot of E-Web heavies, and they didn't work very well. And every time I tried to push my guys up towards him, the dice was just in his favour. Although the one guy I did take, Boba Fett, he played really well. He managed, so he's only got 7 health. And he managed to get down to 1 health, and then I managed to do something that was quite cool, and it put him back up to 7 health again. So it was almost like a second wind. But yeah, that again didn't last very long. And by turn 4, I conceded.
But did you enjoy it?
Yeah.
So I always enjoy playing Matt, because Matt gets very into the game. He loves Star Wars lore, so he's very into the theatrics of it and everything, and we do enjoy playing. However, that was a competition list, and yeah, I did have a spout of depression after that game. Not gonna lie, but it's always enjoyable playing him. I do love Star Wars Legion. It is a fun game to play because it's that turn-based mechanic of being able to just you go, I go, you go, I go, which I really appeals to me. But yeah, it was a tough game. It was really hard to watch all my guys get destroyed.
Cool. I'm really glad you enjoyed yourself, because when we all looked at you on Tuesday, you looked like you had such a good time.
I will put a little. I don't know if we've got a photo of Sam looking happy.
Yeah.
But on this, obviously, when we do post the podcast, it goes onto Spotify and whatever. But it does go onto YouTube, and what I will be doing is adding pictures throughout. So if we have got a picture of Sam's face as he was triumphantly losing, then we will subsequently add it here.
I think it was just the fact that I didn't get one activation off the board of his. I did kill some troops, I just didn't get one complete unit taken away.
That's
and Phil's just put an amazing photo. That was me. That was me Tuesday night, to a pillow.
Oh dear. Hey, look, Matt, we love you. So, Luke, what did you do at the club this week? I didn't see you playing a game. What were you doing?
I wasn't. No, I was very focused on. No, I was adjudicating, wasn't I?
Yeah, terribly.
I wouldn't call technology stratagems adjudicating.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I vowed that I'm not going to be sort of backseat driving for anyone's games moving forward. I think I did upset John at one point there by telling her to use stratagems at critical points of the game.
A mouthful.
I mean, it wasn't.
John nearly took my head off.
John went full dad mode, and it was amazing.
He did. Totally lost it. But yeah, no, I wasn't doing anything. I've been very much focused on getting this podcast up, and sorted. But yeah, as Karl mentioned right at the beginning, the podcast has seen a huge viewing, which is fantastic. Which is we've had 68 people download and listen to the podcast, just through either Spotify or directly through our Buzzsprout link. I mean, so far, guys, we've covered 7 territories in the world. So we've covered UK, we've covered Germany, Norway, Taiwan, United States, Poland, Belgium. There's all of those people.
Almost as successful as COVID-19.
Exactly, yeah. So we're that close. So that will be the tagline, would be download the podcast, it's spreading as quickly as COVID-19. So
nice.
that will
topical.
Yeah.
Luke, very quick question.
Yes.
Did we get anybody from Mexico listen?
We haven't had anyone from Mexico listen, no. But the other good thing as well is we've had actually 40 additional views on YouTube. So we've got in total over 100 people listen to the first podcast. So thank you very much, everybody. We've got 8 subscribers now. I've just looked; it's just gone up to 8 subscribers on YouTube, which will grow in time. But people keep downloading, keep listening, keep giving us our comments. Yeah, that was me this week. Yep.
there's 6 of us in this channel. I'm pretty sure all 6 of us are subscribed to the YouTube channel.
I don't.
So thank you
Oh
for
God, I definitely haven't. I don't listen to this voice.
I did.
Phil did. Thanks, Phil.
Phil just describes everything, though.
Okay, so I suppose it's down to me to talk about what I did at the club this week.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, what did you do?
So I played a game, Civil War, with Dave.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Dave, for the intro game to it. It was incredible. So basically, it was a game of Civil War, so the English Civil War. So I played Cavaliers, and Dave played the Model New Army. So he was Cromwell. And yeah, it was really good fun. The way that the turns move. So basically, you have to roll dice to activate your units. And basically, if you failed that roll, it was the opposition's turn to go. So things happen really, really quickly. It takes a little bit while because obviously my 40k brain was like, I'm going to charge these pikemen into cavalry, which you couldn't do. So my pikemen just stayed there and died. But it was really good. Thank you, Dave, for your patience and listening to me ramble on. And yeah, no, it was really good fun. Dave's painting is absolutely fantastic.
Oh yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah,
And his scenery.
Oh yeah. There'll be pictures on our Instagram page to look at the scenery. But the game did go to the new model army, and the Royalists did run away quite bravely. We ran away, but we ran away. So yeah, that's what I did at the club. Really good game. I recommend anyone. Dave will be happy to show anyone how to play it because the more people play it, the more people he gets to play against. So what I want to quickly talk about then, guys, is our favourite unit in 40k. So I asked lads and lasses before we start the podcast to think of their favourite unit and just ramble on about it for a couple of minutes. So John, what is your favourite unit in Warhammer 40k?
Quite simply, my favourite unit for 40k is the Humble Shield Drone.
Yes.
Really? How did I know a Tau player would say that?
Because for 10 points, it generates so much anger.
Yes.
That's fair.
I don't think you can say any more about that, can you, really?
It's just the most efficient unit on the board in that effect.
Yeah.
Shall we move on to Phil?
No, I want to talk more about shield drones and how they work. Yeah. So for me, I play Harlequins, and it was a real tough choice of I think the 7 different units that are in this army. But so I'm gonna go with it's a combo. It's the Star Weaver, purely because you can move it 16, you can auto advance it 6, but here's where the fun starts. You put a unit of troop in there, you fill them up with fusion, you get them into the enemy lines, you blow everything up, and you win the game in turn 1.
Because Harlequins are so OP, right?
Because Harlequins are the most OP army out there. Yeah, it's what's the version of this for Dark Elder? What have they got? They've
Venom.
got the Venom. This is what a Venom wished it was. This is proper. Yeah, so you can put 5 troop in there, a troop master, a character if you must, and it's just it's a very. I mean, look, it's -1 to hit. It's got a 4 up invul. It's got a weapon skill of 3+. Fucking have that.
Big numbers.
Numbers, man. In combat, this thing's a beast. But it's a pivotal part of any Harlequin army. And I think you're gonna just that is what most people will. Although saying that, I've also got another favourite unit, which is the Sky Weaver.
2?
Which is like I've got 3. Yeah, the troop, the Star Weaver, and the Sky. But since Haywire got good, the Star Weavers, the jet bikes, are absolutely fantastic. So again, Haywire is D6 shots. You have a unit of 6 of these. I think maybe even 8. Yeah, there they are, the lovely little bikes. And these are mortal wounding on a 4+ to vehicles. So they're just banging vehicles out the park, left, right, and centre. And you don't have to be that close either. So you've got this like 24-inch threat range.
They are very good.
If you want to capture objectives, again, they can move 16 or to advance 6. They can advance and charge. They're just disgusting.
I mean, you've mentioned 3 units from the Harlequin. You might as well mention the other 4 now, because there's not many.
Yeah, to be honest. Well, no, right. I'll mention the least favourite one, the Void Weaver. What the hell's the point in that?
They weren't very sort of imaginative with their naming here, were they? Let's be honest.
They're all about weaving. I mean,
and also if we look about for everyone who doesn't know, I'm putting the pictures up as Phil's talking about them. If we just compare these 3 photos for a second, they've just gone. Let's make that one skinnier. I mean, the last one is exactly the same as the first one.
That's because,
pretty much.
Yeah, it's the same kit.
Yeah.
It's the same.
It's the same design philosophy as like the 911, isn't it? It's been over 50 years and they all look the bloody same.
Yeah.
But the individuality in Harlequins comes through the little checkers and the nice colour schemes and all that fancy pants jazz. So what else is there?
3 days later.
There is a solitaire as well.
Let's go through the codex now, aren't we?
I'm pretty sure this is all the units you have.
It's all the units there are. There's a Death Jester, which is like a sniper. And there is a psychic, the Shadow Seer. Now, if we want to talk about favourite psychic powers, I can say that for another episode. But Harlequins have some brilliant ones.
Yes,
Phil. I think Phil's cutting up. Oh, we've lost Phil. We've lost Phil, everybody. We've lost Phil.
Harlequins are the best.
Carry on.
That's cool.
He's gone.
So,
He's
Holly, bring
Yes.
us back down to earth. What's your favourite unit in your army?
I would say my copters, my death copters.
Oh, good God.
do
God,
you not like them?
I hate
That's
playing
why.
against them.
The most
why I
underrated
chose
unit
them.
in the whole of 40k, in
Yes.
my opinion.
Definitely.
Anything that annoys Karl is a plus. No, because anything in my army that I play that doesn't have a save of a 6+ immediately makes me excited. So they have a save of a 4+. So I win. And when they get into close combat, because I equip mine with kill saws, so they're pretty gnarly. And I like that because, as everyone knows, when I play, I forget what I'm supposed to do. I just race in and just want to get in and combat it. And Copters are very good at that because they're -4 AP with their kill saws, 2 damage each, and strength 8. And I just love them, and they move pretty fast as well.
Absolutely ridiculous. They
I've got
advance.
to ask then, Holly. If they're that strong, why did you put them up against my infantry, not my battle suits, when we played?
Because I was remembering what Karl said to me, and to actually do my objective cards, and I needed to do objectives, and they were there, so I just left them there.
Fair enough.
Just
Yeah,
to
I was
clarify as
actually
well,
playing the
anyone
game.
who's ready to jump down Holly's throat and go, actually, it's a flying model, so it can't therefore take objectives. We did double check, and they're not that they have that they're allowed to. It's basically
They're not supersonic.
They're not supersonic.
Yeah, I
That's what
checked with a lot of
thank you.
people, and I checked with the Lord that is Karl, because if there's a question at the club, you go to Karl. Even though the beard and the wisdom is gone, he
Or
still
Jack.
knows some things.
Yeah, Jack is very good. I
Carl
would say
or Jack,
Jack's
they're
better
the
than-
2.
Yes.
Yeah. The advantage of asking Jack is you don't get like a comparison to Grey Knights. So it's really
No, yeah, exactly. Jack gets straight to the point. Carl kind of tells you how to play the next 5 moves in the game.
Cheers, guys. Okay, so moving on to Sam, what's your favourite?
I have to go. Well, I'm going to go for aggressors because one, rule of cool. They are cool-looking, massive models. You know, they just look big. They look hard, especially the bold sergeant. He looks hard. But the fact that every time I've fielded on the board, the last 3 times I've fielded them, they've just been shot out because people are just worried about them. I always arm them with auto bolt storm gauntlets, 18-inch range. They just annihilate assault 6. And if you don't move with aggressors, you don't get a penalty. If you don't move, you get double shots. And if you advance, you don't get a penalty, which I think just makes these units quite overpowered. I've only ever ran them in units of 3. I am going to do a game where I'm going to run a unit of 6.
Definitely.
And just see how they perform on the board. But for me, it's just that if they don't move and you're within 18 inches, they can fire twice. So what's that? It's 18 dice twice on a unit of 3, which I just think's OP. You know, get 6 on the board. It's untold, isn't it? You know, and they just look good. The only problem I've got is people just target them straight away, which is kind of annoying. Because every time I go on, and that's how I learned at the club what units are good, when people fire at them first and relentlessly fire at them. I think, what game was it? The game I was playing with you, Karl, you and Andy, and I heard you and Andy just talking over the table saying we got to get rid of those aggressors because if they get up the board, we're knackered.
Yeah, because in front of them were poxwalkers. And
that's right. Yeah, and they
perfectly suited to kill them. So
they are. I mean, I did have auto bolt storm gauntlets. I think they'd have been better with flamers if they were getting up that close. But you just can't argue the bolt storms. 18 dice rolling for the 3. It's just insane. So I think that's and they look cool. And no matter what army I think you put them in. I mean, obviously mine are Blood Angels, but if you look at some of them, like the Salamanders ones, look really cool. Just the normal Space Marines look. The model is a generally cool model. So
absolutely. Okay. So Luke, what is your favorite unit in your army?
Oh well, if I'm really honest, Luke has recently acquired a new army.
Yeah.
What?
Right, yeah. For anyone who doesn't know, I'm
Holly,
taking...
do you know about this?
Yeah, I just tried to ignore it all.
No, so I'm taking the big sort of 40k hobbying plunge and painting up my first Imperial Fist army. It's something that I've always put off, but I know that I'm going to give it my best shot and paint yellow. For anyone who doesn't know, Imperial Fist are yellow. Yellow is probably one of the most difficult colours to paint on anything. It's just a hard thing to get right. But I know that if you get it done right, it looks amazing. But yeah, that's I would say probably at the moment it's Tor Garadon. But that being said, it isn't, because my love will always go to, and I mentioned it last week, the Arco-Phalagons.
I hate
for anyone
them.
who doesn't know what they are a space Sisters of Battle unit, which are they're basically insane running. They're basically tortured humans with whips for arms, but a little bit of a down run down for you. So they've got a movement of 7 inches. But weapon skill of 4+. They don't have a ballistic skill because they don't have any guns. Strength 4, toughness 3. It looks bad, but wait for it. 2 wounds apiece, 2 attacks, leadership 7, save 7+. Yeah, save 7+, but it's fine because I do have a 5 up feel no pain. But what also thing that I have just realised is there's a little thing here, a little rule which I didn't know they had, which is if any of your army is Battleforged, this does not take up a detachment slot that includes a Ministarum Priest. So if your detachment takes up, or if your detachment has a Ministarum Priest, then any detachment that uses Arco-Phalagons doesn't take up a detachment slot.
Nice.
Come on, that's amazing.
That's very good.
Yeah, but these guys are fantastic because I mentioned this before, John, he's doing it again. So if anyone doesn't know about this before, John's keyboard is mechanical, and I spent an hour and a half last time editing out John's bloody keyboard. Shut up. But yeah, so the weapons on these guys, basically they have 2 attacks each. They run in a unit of normally by standard 6, but I've got 16, and each attack they do does D3 hits per attack. There is a stratagem that you can use that makes them auto 3. So they each have 2 attacks each, plus 1 for charging, so 3 attacks each. And each of those 3 attacks does 3 hits, and there's 16 of them. They're just hard work.
Yep.
There is the Sister Repenters as well, which have just come out in this whole new bulk release of Sisters, which I'll cover another day. But they're basically these models on steroids. They are They're just great. The Sisters of Battle. If you want to collect Sisters of Battle, come and talk to me. I will talk to you about Sisters of Battle forever. But yeah, that's me. I love Sisters of Battle. And what's this? No. I've got a meme here. No one in the known universe. 40k players after 2 drinks. So, I'm not going to finish that sentence.
Really read before you start.
Yeah. Yeah.
Karl, what's your favourite unit?
I'm glad you asked, Holly.
Is it going to be involving Grey Knights?
It's a classic.
No, it's a classic. So this model's been around for donkey's years as a Black Templars only model. So the Emperor's Champion.
God, that model.
Yeah, if you've played against me and my Black Templars, you met an Emperor's Champion. So he is my favourite go-to. So whenever I start building a list, the 2 HQs I always choose is Emperor's Champion and Grimaldus. But I much preferred the Emperor's Champion because of what he does in combat. So he's not great at shooting. He's got a pistol, but you don't care about that sort of nonsense with him. You want to get him into combat and charge a character or be heroically intervening against another character. So basically what he does, so he has something called the Black Sword, which gives him +2 strength. So he's only strength 4 at the start, but +2 strength gives him strength 6. -3 AP, so he's pretty good at doing that. Damage is D3. But the great thing about him is that when resolving attacks made with this weapon against a character or monster, you can re-roll the wound rolls, which is really cool. So you got Sigismund's Honor, so you add +1 strength and attack characteristics whilst it's in combat with or within 1 inch of an enemy character. So he's strength 7 in combat, and he gets +1 attack, so he's got 6 attacks with Angels of Death. Skillful parry. So this is a new thing with their their new Psychic Awakening. When resolving an attack made with this melee weapon against this model, subtract 1 from the hit roll. So if you're hitting him and you hit on like 3s or 2s, you actually -1. So you're hitting on 3s and 4s, which is quite cool.
So Orcs would struggle then.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And he's a Slayer of Champions. Yes, yeah.
He's a cool model.
Got a bit of a robe on, and he's got a massive sword. What more do you want?
Oh, hello.
She's old as well, isn't it?
Yes.
For fucking ages.
I have a metal version. You're only allowed 1 in your army, though, guys. He and against characters in combat, he can reroll the hit. So if he's charging against your character, he reroll hits, reroll wounds. He has a 4+ invuln and a 2+ normal save. He has like 7 attacks. He's strength 7. Guess how many points he is?
500.
90. 75.
You'd
go
think
200.
75 points.
Wow. Phil, you were so
to be
close
fair,
to 500.
though, Carl, like I have, it's a beautiful model. Don't get me wrong, and it's quite good. But if you look at what's come out recently, and take Gazgul for example, and you take the model you've got here, I think that Emperor's Champions come from a time quite far back. We're talking 5th, 4th edition.
Oh no.
3rd edition.
Rule-wise, okay, well, even further. Okay, 3rd edition, where it doesn't. It needs a sort of a revamp, doesn't it? If you put it up against Gazgul,
Model rule.
You know?
No. I don't think it does. Because you got GW on their Primaris Rubicon nonsense, converting characters into Primaris Marines. I'm actually kind of glad they didn't do it to Black Templars, because if you're Helbrecht, who's the sort of the field marshal or the marshal of Black Templars, and you've got Gilliman or Girlyman coming up to you and saying, "Hey, I've got some Primaris for you, mate," you'd be like, "Wait a minute. What does my mate Dawn say? He didn't like you at the start, so what's going on?" So you'd be skeptical. So I'm kind of happy that we haven't got any of our characters gone on to become Primaris, because I don't think that's what Black Templars are about. But anyway,
it is inevitable. I actually think that near enough everything's going to go Primaris, aren't they? Really?
Well, they got to make money somehow, aren't they? GW.
Yeah.
They own the law, so they can do whatever they want.
It's going to be inevitable that they'll all be crossing that Primaris barrier.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so moving on. The club will be closed this week due to COVID-19. We're not going to open up this week.
No chippy date.
No chippy date with you and Jamie.
Well, you two can still meet up.
Nah, just in case he's got COVID-19. Taking no chances.
It's better to be safe than sorry. One of our members has been at home self-isolating this week with a high temperature and a cough. So I spoke to him last night. He's better and he's doing well, so that's really good. But we thought as a leadership team, me, Phil and Dale, that we would just close for a week. Which is sad because we all love playing games, but we thought we would do it again just to be safe than sorry. But the club, we're in a good place. We're planning on doing our second Blood Bowl tournament. So we'll talk to Brocky and Phil about that. And we're planning on doing a 40k tournament soon. And an APOC game. And there's a couple of guys in the group on Tuesday. We haven't mentioned it yet, but we're planning on doing a fantasy league. Not Age of Sigmar, fantasy. So square bases and all. And Justin and Pauli are talking about getting that all sorted in the coming weeks. So that's something to look forward to. Anything else what we're going to do at the club, guys? That you think?
I'm gonna throw this ball out here, and Luke is finally going to mention it because he keeps it way too quiet for way too long. Right, you've heard it here first. Luke is announcing the start of Harry Potter miniatures board gaming.
Ooh.
Do you understand the rules yet?
I was going to say, we need to know how to play.
Last time we heard about this, they took a photo of the game set up, a bottle of wine, an empty bottle of wine, and you go, what the fuck is this?
It is the most confusing game.
But yeah, no, I'm bringing this in full force.
Okay.
I'm up for that.
It's
Nice.
If anyone doesn't know, it's designed by Knights Models. The models are amazing. If you're a fan of Harry Potter and you like Warhammer, you need to check this out. So go on to
Nice.
Knights Models, have a look at them. They are quite pricey for what they are,
Okay.
but I will be launching that in the club in the imminent future. If anyone wants to have a go and learn the rules, then I'm all ears because I don't know how they
Then
work.
please teach Luke.
Please teach me, or we can learn together. That's fine. So that's
Nice.
that's what I'm going to do. So if come and see me.
Very
Nice.
quick question.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Do I have to shout Expelliarmus whenever we do anything?
Yeah, and
Oh,
there
yeah,
will
you
be
gotta come
wands
in.
and
It's
full
mandatory.
Harry Potter mode.
Do you know what I'm
You've
quite
got to wear
worried
your
about? Is the
robes
fact
and
that-
everything.
We have to
I
get our
know-
wands out at the club.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Do you
Calm
know what
down.
what's worried me right here? If I've just announced that and Phil hasn't said anything, is Phil just died with excitement? Phil.
I think he has.
Can I be Ron Weasley?
Very fitting.
Absolutely.
Can I just say before the next thing, Karl, you mentioned that obviously we're closed this week, which is a disappointment, but that doesn't mean the GTGC stops because we have actually got that Steam community going on now. Just want to mention that because there's a few of us joined that, ready to play a bit of World of Warships and stuff. So it's gone beyond tabletop gaming into that realm
Absolutely, yeah.
of online. You know, when we're not there on a Tuesday night.
We're a full community, guys. So we've got a Discord channel. If you want to join that, we've got WhatsApp. If you want to join that, we have now a Steam community. So yeah, although we're not going to meet up in person, the games will still flow, but they just go electronic.
Although I would say, don't watch Karl play World of Warships.
I had a
fucking
terrible
hell.
night.
Oh, that was dreadful, wasn't it?
So boring.
And that being said, though, if it's going electronic, we can still play board games on. If anyone has Tabletop Simulator, then we can still play 40k on the internet.
I am going to get that. I just need to learn how it works.
So John and I are planning to play Pandemic.
Oh, I'll play.
That's fitting.
I will
I'll play.
definitely join in on
An
that.
ironic
Yeah,
game to play at this time of the year, Phil.
Yes, very fitting.
And if we lose that,
And
then we'll produce a suitable sort of apocalyptic game like Dead of Winter or something like that.
Oh, amazing.
So yeah, just to wrap up then. So at the club on Tuesday, we had about 2 people down, which is incredible. So thank you for everybody to attend. We had the D&Ders in the snooker hall, which has an odd flavour of damp If you've never been in there, it smells of damp, but they loved it. They had their atmospheric music on the go. Yeah, it was a great evening. Thank you for everybody that came down. Matt Loveless, who's one of our Legion players, who's massively into Star Wars, played at a tournament at Incon Gaming today, and he won 1 out of 3 games, but he had a blast, really enjoyed himself. Well done, Matt, absolutely fantastic.
Well done, mate.
Yeah,
Well done, mate.
representing.
Had his GTGC hoodie on and everything.
Oh, did
Yeah,
he?
absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah,
brilliant.
yeah. He really represented. What we want to do as a community as well, we want to go out there. We've got the Gobblers, which is our Blood Bowl tourney team. But we need to get our 40k tourney teams up together because we've got some fantastic players.
Give ourselves nicknames.
Yeah, definitely.
But obviously,
we should get other people to give them to us.
Another thing we want to cover is obviously last podcast we mentioned that we'd looking at the website. John actually has made some progress with that, haven't you, John?
There's been some progress.
It looks good. It does look good. It looks good.
Yeah, but
You're selling yourself short
been
there, mate.
upset all week because somebody beat him on Tuesday with Orcs.
It's very hard to develop through tears.
They decimated.
There we go.
Thank you, decimate. Yeah. That's it.
But yeah, eventually, I just want to ask John. We've built this. We're building this website for obviously people to come on, watch the podcast, put comments and stuff. Will we have our link to our merchandise there? Because we do sell T-shirts.
We can do.
Yeah. Do we still have those?
It's basically just we don't have stock. It's basically just a company that you sort of go on to, order what you want, and you just put our logo on the gear. But there is plans in the future to have our own sort of catalogue of stuff that we can buy to put profit back into the club. So there are plans in motion to have that all sorted. Yeah, so check us out. The website will be coming along shortly. I'm sure Luke will post this on every sort of podcast streaming service that you provide. And our Instagram page is blowing up, as I said the other day, and that's all down to Holly, who's absolutely incredible at using Instagram. I have no idea. I can barely use Facebook. But thank you very much for your efforts on that, Holly. But yeah, guys, very quick thing then. If you have any questions about the hobby or any hobby that you're into, please send them in. We'll put our email address in at the bottom of our podcast, and we'll answer them and go through them next week.
Amazing.
Lastly,
PPS.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Have a
Is
lovely
that it,
day.
Bill?
I think
Great
that's
night.
it.
Great night.
Every time.